Cairo Qween, and this is Face.2.Face with Cairo Qween. I'm glad that you all joined us today. We're going to be talking a little bit about technology. Yay! Oh yeah, I forgot I had applause. Anyway, so we're going to be covering technology and all the hot things and hot button issues on technology. I have people joining me. It's going to be fantastic. We're going to have fun. I have so much to talk about. So much has happened. I haven't been doing this for like a month, so oh wow, we can keep talking about things that have happened and occurred in the world of tech. Met some great people. Let me fix this screen here. Well, let's talk a little bit about Google. So today, you know, Google, for anybody that knows, I am a big, huge lover of Google and Google products and Google everything. Google Hangout, Google this, Google that. And I'm just excited about it. Okay, somebody's sending me a chat already. Okay, let me get to that in just a second. I'm going to fix my screen. But this is something where, I mean, I've been waiting for Google to come out with this product and to release it to the general public so that eventually I'll get one. Now, of course, I'm not the person that's going to go buy technology when it first comes out, but of course, Google Glass was released to the general population today, and it's exciting because what people don't understand about Glass is this is now the beginning of your super future, the future that you see in TV and media. This is it. So, you know, people who are who don't have an idea and they think it's something that's berserk, because I saw Forbes magazine, they issued something today. It was a person that clearly doesn't understand where the future is headed. You can't stop it. So for all the people who are trying to stop it, that are, you know, interested in what the bad parts are of technology and don't understand the good and the progress that we're going to have. Lazone Gray is on. Great, Lazone. Wait, what did Lazone say? But anyway, so what you don't understand about technology and where technology is going in the future, you should just sit back and watch. But I really recommend that you do research, because the things that can happen and can help people. Thank you, Lazone. And I see Lazone Gray, and I see there's a third person over there, Lazone Gray, and then I see DeAnna Troupe, and we're all here on Face-to-Face. So, and you guys can chime in at any point. I'm just, you know, going over what I went through in the last month or so, but just today, it was great to have that release out. So check out the articles. Yeah, check out the bad one too from Forbes magazine. But I mean, it's a great thing because augmented glass will open up doorways for people to do all sorts of things in the future. So all the movies that you've seen. Yes, ma'am. Hi, Zone. Okay. Yes, I hear you. Yay, I can hear you. Wonderful. So for all the things that people have seen in movies, where you've seen everything from Minority Report, even there was a cartoon that came out in like 2000 called Sherlock Holmes in the 22nd Century, and they had augmented glass in there. You know, this is something huge where you can see the glass and you can touch it and have the touch screen and move things around. And it's cool because, of course, you know, everybody's into the personal touch now that iPhone has released touch phone and a touch pads, and of course we can do that with our laptops now, and you have tablets, but this is like taking this all to the next step. So of course you'll have augmented glass that you can actually touch and put your hands on, and you can move things around, and it'll look like it's invisible but it's really doing it, or it's in a 3D presentation with some kind of neon light. It'll be great. It'll be even greater because we'll have phones and gadgets that we can take around, and they'll be clear. I just think that's cool. It was funny because when I used to work at Nokia, my thought to them was clear is the cool way to have a phone. I just always thought that was the best thing. Clear with neon lights. And of course, augmented glass is kind of like that and come to fruition. So anyway, I'm excited. I'm glad that you guys joined me. How are you guys doing today?
I'm doing really well. Thank you.
Well, yay.
I'm doing great. Can y'all hear? Can y'all hear me?
I hear you perfectly well.
I hear too.
Awesome.
Cool beans.
Yay.
So, okay, so how do you guys feel about Google Glass coming out? Are you as excited as I am? Because I just see it as, you know, just the whole new, I think it's the next step to where iPhone took the whole touch experience. And I'm excited about it because I think that it's going to do some marvelous things for our society. What do you guys think?
Oh, I'm definitely excited about it. I've been waiting for them to make it available to everyone. Of course, I probably won't get one for a while, but I'm just glad it's available.
I agree. That's how I feel. I said I'm not going to get one until, of course, you know, the prices drop down. But I like the fact that it's available because I think it now allows everybody to become the beta tester. And then when, I guess, the second one comes out, maybe the third one, I'll get one. But I just want to see people walking around with it. I've always wanted to see this where people have something they're talking on their heads with, other than the Bluetooth, because that was exciting for me then. But this is kind of, you know, something on a whole nother level. I wish my friend Jamila actually has a pair. She bought it when it was first being beta tested. So, but I'll probably do an interview with her maybe the next week or so. She's very interesting. What about you, Lazone? How do you feel about the Google Glass?
I'm an early adopter, but that's probably one I'm going to pass on. I'm not much into rings, watches, and jewelry anyway, and so they would be just something that'd be in the way for me.
You know what? I was making a comment on a Google post that was on Google Plus today because I thought, to me, it made more sense than talking in your wrist, because I was like, why do I want to be walking around talking in my wrist all day or my ring, making phone calls? You know what? E.T. phone home, you know? I thought that was so goofy. But, you know, hey, whatever. To each his own. I thought the glass actually enabled people to be hands-free and to not be obstructed, so I thought that was cool, except for when it comes to driving. Now, I don't know about the driving component. I do know that Chevy actually came out with something where people can literally detect, or their phones can detect their eye movements. I forgot what that was called, but the phone detects the eye movements, and therefore if you have a phone call or if you're trying to look on the internet and respond based off of your eye movement. Have you guys heard about that?
I haven't.
No, that's a new one on me.
Oh. Well, it was something that I saw on Bloomberg. I think I watch Bloomberg all the time because that's literally the only place where you can hear tech news all the time unless you go online on television. I have hair all on my face. Yeah, so I thought that was some pretty cool news. I said I was going to gossip with DeAnna about Elon Musk and Carl Icahn. DeAnna, did you have a chance to look them up?
No, I sure did not, but I'm glad you reminded me. I'll look it up probably
Okay,
later today.
I'll give a little buzz about, or a little information about what I thought was kind of cool about this, because my thought is that technology can be just as juicy as all other topics. It's just you have to look for the information, and because all these people are not mainstream conversations, people aren't really engaged in it yet, but they will be, because you have somebody like Elon Musk, and Elon Musk is one of the founders of PayPal and eBay, right? So PayPal, eBay, Tesla Motors, Tesla Technologies, SpaceX, and Solar City. And so he's you know, has his hands in all of these components. Somebody sending me messages. Has his hands in all these components, and it's really pretty sensational to me. Okay. Hi, Andre. Andre Scott said he sees us talking on the Google Talk. So, yeah, but I thought it was really cool because Elon Musk, he comes all the way from South Africa, right? He comes here, goes to college, and he was like a dishwasher or something, and sort of homeless, or he was living in some kind of weird living space, and like a dishwasher of sorts. And so he comes into the United States from South Africa, and he has nothing. And now he's a multi-billionaire. And he has all these companies and all these conglomerates that he's put together. He is literally, I guess, our typical conversation about the American dream, come to fruition. And so, that's all cool. But then he has all this drama. He has this drama where he's got these ex-wives, he's got children involved. It's all sorts of little interesting things. He has this weird kind of personality. But of course, you have people who are super geeks. They're kind of touched in the first place. So, because, that doesn't actually, it's not one of the functionalities of their brain capacity, I think. Sort of like musicians or people who just kind of function on music. But he's a really interesting guy. You ever look him up? I think he's interesting because he's built this thing called Hyperloop. And Hyperloop is like maglev technology. So maglev technology, for people who don't know, go look it up. It's MAGLEV. Maglev technology is technology or transportation that actually operates on magnets. Now, why is this significant? Because it would kill our oil and the spending of oil and anything having to do with oil. And so when you're talking about maglev technology, you're talking about these rails that they operate in Japan. They're in different countries. Hey, I lost my camera. Dang it. They operate in Japan. They operate in different countries. And so, ironically, he creates this thing called Hyperloop. And Hyperloop is this form of the maglev technology. And it's this tube that people can travel in. Please look it up. It's HYPERLOOP, Hyperloop. And Elon Musk, if you ever see this, I would love to interview you or just hang out with you one day because I think you're brilliant. But anyway, so if you look up Hyperloop, that's the information you'll find. You want to Google it and do YouTube videos because there are videos that show you how it works and everything and cartoon images. And ironically, we have a company here, American Maglev Transportation. I think that's AMT. AMT is a company here in Atlanta, Georgia, in the Powder Springs area. And I'm going to get to them, I promise, and I'm going to do an interview with them at some point or the next. I thought they were super cool because if you go on their website, they actually have a functional demonstration where you can see it move. And check that out. Real cool stuff. Now, why is that significant? Because it would reduce, I guess, gas emissions and reduce, the pollution in the air. So I thought that was pretty good. Somebody who's asthmatic and has, a lot of respiratory situations. So, what else? Okay, so I went to this eco event for a lady named Felicia Phillips, right, here in Atlanta. And I ran into, what is his name? I'll say Mr. Cornelius. Ran into Mr. Cornelius. He's the Southeastern manager for the Nissan electric car vehicles. Okay, so got to get an electric car, checked it out. They have pumps at IKEA. IKEA is a furniture store for people who don't have IKEA in your neighborhood. IKEA is a furniture store. It's IKEA. You can actually, in Atlanta, Georgia, or in the state of Georgia, you can purchase a Leaf from Nissan on a lease purchase, and they're like about $215 monthly, right? The state of Georgia gives you a tax credit for that every month, and it's more than what you pay. That's so crazy. Did you know about that, DeAnna? No? Okay. So.
Something new today.
Oh, yeah. When I tell you I have so much stuff to talk about, I was so excited about it. I was like, okay, so you can get a car from Leaf, and you actually can, it actually winds up being a free car because the only thing you'd really be paying for is insurance. The gas, check this out, the gas is all electric, so there is no actual gas that you put into it. And then because the pump charges you a quarter, check this out, they put the stations up at IKEA so you can actually get the pump and get the gas for free. So all you do is go put your charge into the car and you drive away in it. I thought it was awesome. And it drives for, I don't remember if it was like so many miles, but I thought it was a pretty good deal. To me, the whole thing sounded good. Now, retail cost on that, we won't talk about that. But anyway,
Nissan?
Yep, Nissan Leaf. It's
Okay.
really cool. If you want to get one,
Interesting.
I know the
Gotta check
manager
that out too.
personally now, so yeah, check into that. I think more people should check into it, especially, and they said Atlanta actually is the #1 sales location for the Leaf car. And I would guess so because of the high commute that we have here, the heavy commute and the long commute that everybody has. So pretty cool, pretty cool. DeAnna said musicians and geeks are definitely in their own worlds most of the time. Okay, so here we go. Now, it is about 8:23, and so I'm expecting that the Urban Tech Fair should join us at some point, maybe around 8:30. We'll see. They have a segment for the Urban Tech Fair that's now going to be about a 30-minute segment within the Face.2.Face Hangout. So that should be covered by Urban Tech Fair and bringing guests in and all sorts of wonderful things going forward. So I probably won't be doing this every week, so it should be more of a power pack show. We could do something, I think, maybe bi-weekly. So I still haven't kind of plotted it out yet because I have a bunch of things going on, politicians and all sorts of stuff that I'm working with. In addition to still trying to get my show up and running with some people who I likely will be interviewing next week. So went to Microsoft, right? Been doing an event with Renee Noor, who is, well, actually it's her event. I've just been going for the tech part. But Renee Noor has an event called Fashion Night Out 4. So she decided to comprise the elements of film, fashion, and technology. So Microsoft is actually sponsoring this event. So we go into the place. I want to show this video, but I don't even know if I can show a video and actually have this on at the same time. Not really sure. I might be able to try that, but I'm not sure. You know what? I think I can. I want to show the video of the 3D. It's a 3D printer called the MakerBot. MakerBot 3D printing. Where's my video? MakerBot. All right, here we go. MakerBot. All right, this is it. So I'm going to try to play this, and we'll see if I can actually get this played. Looks like it. I made a video, so people can actually see the MakerBot Replicator. I think this thing is ultra cool. So I'm in the store for Microsoft, and they have this MakerBot Replicator, which is a 3D printer, and it's actually printing things where it's putting out and creating something right there. Okay, so I'm going to turn this on now so you can see it, and you can watch the video. Bear with me for just a moment. I think I've done this before, but and it's sort of loud, so let me know if it's too loud for your screen. I can turn it down. It's only about a minute or so, a couple minutes. Wait, don't start yet. Alrighty. Great. Okay, and so that's the video for the MakerBot 3. What's it? The MakerBot Replicator. I was gonna say MakerBot 3000. That just sounded appropriate. Anyway, so you can check that out. It's under my social media, my YouTube social media, under Cairo Qween, the account. Tech Socialite MakerBot Replicator 3D printer at Microsoft Linux Mall. So, okay, now go back to this. And let's unshare this document. This is what I like too about Google Hangout. I'm going to stop the sharing. Okay, I'm back. I don't know what's wrong with my camera, but can you guys see me anymore?
No.
Okay, I'm back. All right, so did you see the video? Did it show well?
Yes, it did.
No.
Okay, so no, it didn't. Dang it. Well, that's the MakerBot Replicator. And so what that does is it takes this substance, and for this instance, it was a plastic substance that's put inside the MakerBot Replicator, which is the medium-sized 3D printer. And you tell it to create something inside of your, and that was hooked up, of course, in Microsoft, hooked up to a Surface tablet. And you put the program in, and I think they said it was a JBL, something like that. I don't know what it was, the software. But you type the information in the software that you wanted to produce, and that was actually creating a bracelet. And so it produces this bracelet. It takes about an hour or so. I showed the timer, and I threw some music on there, but show the timer, and you actually see it printing out. It's pretty cool. So if you have a chance, stop by a Microsoft store, because they actually have the 3D printer in there. Go in there and see how it works, because everything that was on that table, the Microsoft printer actually made. The globe, there was a blue globe there, and there was a little robotic moving thing, and then there was a bathroom design. It was like an architectural layout for a bathroom. And it actually created all that. It was pretty cool. Anyway, so that was my whole entire excitement, I think, for the month in technology. There's more, but I can't remember. You guys have anything to share?
Just listen.
What about you, DeAnna or Lazone? Do you guys have anything to share in your month of experience so far in technology this month?
In what?
This month so far, do you have any exciting things to talk about, or since the last time I saw you guys?
Oh, there's a lot of things going on in our neck of the woods.
Do tell, do tell.
Well, there's a lot of there's some activity going on with the broadband. The president's administration had made some initiatives on getting broadband out to rural areas in those low-income communities. And so states they were competing, and where I am at here in Topeka happened to have been awarded a broadband initiative grant, which is going to sort of look at the bigger picture. And that part that deals with digital inclusion is where I'm going to try to put my efforts into now that I know a little bit more from activity in Kansas City. And other than that, I'm going to try to work with some young people this summer to teach them how to build some websites and get involved into applied use of technology, get some skills, help us build our directory of black businesses, hopefully put some money in their pocket.
Oh, that's superb. Anytime you can help people make money is great. and learn new life skills. That's awesome. Kudos to you, Lazone, out in Kansas. What about you, DeAnna? You teach courses now, so you and Lazone might want to hook up. Maybe you can do some online schools or classes.
I'm just working on my. Oh, I might need to unmute myself. Oh no, I am unmuted. Okay.
I hear you.
I'm just working. I'm just basically working on my books and my membership site. That's about it.
Oh, that's good. Because you're on your third book now?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, so what is this book on?
And that's kind of well, this book is going to be a guide for people who want to start their own freelance business. So I'm just going to basically include some things that I've learned from running my own business and some tips and tricks to help people get started.
And the first two were?
The first one was basically a guide for people who want to advertise online, and I listed places where you can advertise for $35 or less. And the other one was about Twitter. I gave tips and tricks on how to use Twitter.
Fabulous. Yeah, that's the book I need.
Well, that one is called Tips About Twitter for the Sophisticated Marketer, and it's on Amazon for the Kindle.
Get it, girl. And how much are those books retailing?
They're $2.99.
Oh yeah, I totally need to go get one. Okay, everybody.
I'll be glad to send you a link.
Listen, you spell DeAnna Troupe.
Or you can just.
What are they called so people can look them up?
I'll type it into the chat.
Okay. What are they called so people can look them up?
I'll type the titles in.
Okay.
It's
because you know this is QVC for technology. People can watch this later on. They might go buy it, so you want to make sure they know where to find it at. Tips for the Sophisticated Marketer by DeAnna Troupe. That is DeAnna space Troupe. That's DeAnna Troupe. And the second book is Twitter for the Sophisticated Marketer, again by DeAnna Troupe. And the third one she's working on, so we'll be highly anticipating the release of that book coming out. That's wonderful. I'm very proud of you.
Thanks.
Now, if I could just finish my work, I'll be doing good.
You can do it.
I can do it. It's just a matter of me focusing on getting it done. That's the makings of stupid. That's the name of the book. So that'll probably be a testimony by the time I'm finished. Okay, so yesterday with the Urban Tech Fair, we spoke about with Jacqueline Taylor Smith. Jacqueline Adams. Jacqueline Taylor Adams actually had an event for the Urban Tech Fair online, and she did it on Spreecast, and a lot of people watched. It was called The Other Side of Hip Hop, and so there were people like the first lady that ever was a DJ, was it? First lady that was a hip hop DJ. She was on there, and there were a lot of rappers and entertainers that got on, and they played music and some spoken word, and spoke on the other side, meaning the original purpose for hip-hop. And we discussed a little bit how technology has affected hip-hop and how it can impact hip-hop. I kind of went off. I went a little too deep into not just technology, but how I felt that we could benefit utilizing hip-hop. So I decided I was going to say it again, because I'm on record now on this side. I just can't say some of the stuff that I said, because that was something that I probably shouldn't have went into, but I would like to say this. Dear hip-hoppers, I think that you guys have a mega impact on the entire world. And I look and I say, well, you know, when I was coming up, of course, we were debating Ebonics and why we didn't want our language to change in our schools, and how we didn't want people to actually speak in Ebonic terms. And ironically now, we have words like diss and ratchet that are a part of the Urban Dictionary and actually have been inserted into the public dictionary, Merriam-Webster's and real dictionaries. So our vocabulary has actually started to change due to the popularity of hip-hop. So I thought about how much of an impact hip-hop has had, not only in the United States, definitely not just with the African-American community, but all over the globe. And the styles of clothing that have changed, and that you see people who have literally altered a whole entire conscious state of people. And it's no longer just African Americans, it's literally everybody in the world. So businesses now cater to hip hop, whereas people used to shun hip hop and thought it was something degrading and awful. You know, Jay-Z is now partnered with HP. You know, you have people like LL Cool J coming up with his own technology products. You have all sorts of interesting things that have happened where hip-hop is concerned, and I think that's great. I do, however, see where there has not been an uprising where music could be utilized to cultivate a movement and a change within the status of the African American population. Now, I don't just say this for hip hop. I think about our athletes. I think about our celebrities. And I the reason I thought, you know, I could actually speak to this was because the other day, is his name Donald Strickland?
Sterling.
Donald Sterling. Okay, so Donald Sterling, who is the owner of the Los Angeles Clippers. So I'm not in the sports anymore, but so he has, of course, I think if people look it up, he has had this big scandal that, you know, he was dating this girl who's half African American, half Hispanic, and tells her that he didn't want her to bring the blacks to the party, you know, the black guys or whoever, to the party that he was having, and they've been together for a while. Of course, we go through the media and find out this isn't the first engagement they've had together. They've been dealing with each other for a while. Now, to me, that says this man is, you know, he's been dealing with African Americans for a hot minute, but he offended a whole entire race of people, including the players that he has on his team. Now, where this applies in technology to me is, of course, well, the fact that he got caught was due to technology because she was recording it on her cell phone. Whoop, there it is. Big Brother's watching you everywhere, even if it's not the government. But anyway, so he turns around and comes back just this week, and instead of apologizing now, he comes forward and says, okay, well, I don't know what everybody's tripping about because, you know, it's not like Magic Johnson has really contributed a lot to the African American people. And I started to think to myself, you know, does he actually have a point? Now, Magic Johnson has done a lot of things, and he's done a lot for the African American community. Now, but when I look and I think about all the celebrities, all the musicians, all the entertainers, all these people with all this money, and money that they can live and overlive and their grandchildren can overlive, and they blow it on garbage, these things could actually be utilized to uplift communities where people who, of course, banks are not giving out money, you know, where these funds could be put into the communities and, you know, contributed to greater goods. Now, I'm not telling you what to do with your money, but I just thought it was a good idea. You know, I look and I say, okay, well, just in the hip-hop community alone, you have the power of the word. You have the mind-controlling power of the word, where you have now taken music and put it with words and taken it where people have now started to walk around and literally utter everything that you're saying up and down the street, in their cars, in the elevators, and you can go anywhere in Atlanta and I guarantee you will find somebody mimicking some hip-hop words somewhere, headset on, bopping around, whatever. So my thought is this, you know, while you have control of those words, control of those minds, why not do something with that? I mean, you literally can change the energy of everything that goes on within the African American community because people are listening to you, right? Okay, so we have a situation where, of course, you have businesses and technology that needs funding. So why not put money in technology? Why not give startup funds, seed capital? You know, why not be the banker for, you know, technology outlets? Or why not get together, hip hop community, and create your own?
It's
Oh, really? Oh. Okay then.
What'd you say, Lazone?
I gotta step out for a moment.
Oh, sure. Okay. So my thought was, why not create a whole entire organization where you don't have to go through the credit bureau. You don't have to go through the companies that run our and check our credit. You don't have to go through Dun and Bradstreet. And my thought is, this is this simple. You guys could start businesses of your own that actually function in the same purpose, because the credit bureau is not a government agency. It's a company. Dun and Bradstreet, company. Hoover's, company. Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian. Those are companies. They're not federal agencies. And so my thought is, why not take 1,000 people, 10,000 people that are in the hip-hop community and form a $150 business and put this together where we can structuralize a way for people to become their own, to become trade references, for people to be able to branch out and actually have a fresh start with finances. And there was a part where I said, you know, if you took 1,000, you can bring 10,000. 1,000 people together that put in $1,000 is how much money, DeAnna?
I think, wait, math isn't my strong suit, but I'm thinking that's $1 million. Am I right? 100,000.
Yeah,
it's a lot of money.
So, and I'm just thinking, if you had 1,000 people who could claim that they were millionaires, that could go to the banks and say, okay, well, I'm a millionaire. They can't tell you you're not a millionaire if you got 1,000 people backing you to say you are on paper. That's community. And that's the thing that we lack. And this is my thought as to why I have not seen this with the hip-hop community, and maybe they just didn't think of it. But, hey, what's that guy's name? will.i.am. will.i.am's big on tech. will.i.am got picked up by a 3D printing company. He's their, what was it, a CIO? Something like that they made him into. But anyway, so, you know, people like that. I know you got $1,000. You know, I know you have $1,000. So turn around and do something spectacular.
He probably got that in his pocket.
Okay, walking around with it in his shoe, in his sock. That's my change, you know.
Right.
Not that I'm in your wallet, but you know, I'm just saying it makes sense to me for people to band together resources. I watch people do this in every other community but ours, and we wonder why things don't happen for us. We have huge opportunities to make things happen for ourselves, and that's all I'm saying. But it takes all of us to work together to make that happen. I don't think it's going to be a one-person thing. I don't think it's going to be a march, but I do think it can be a movement. And I don't think that marching is going to help. And I don't think that they're a political, religious, or any other type of organization. I don't think we should separate out white people. I think we should leave it open because, you know, it's not just us going through this anymore. But if you are the creator of something this powerful, then you should utilize it for something even bigger. And that's all I was saying. You know, I think, you know, the person I was actually speaking with last night, she had to get off because I went into a complete and total rant last night. But, I mean, that's pretty much what I was trying to get at. And my thought, of course, on the tech side is that because there's so much creativity where technology is concerned, we're able to take technology and make this stuff grow, where people are now developing these companies and they can't get funded. I had a guy I spoke to today. He has an awesome product. It's not even an app. He has an actual product that I think is awesome, and I think he has a great idea.
Wait.
Hi, baby. I think it's an awesome idea that he has, and I would love to help him get that going. But then again, I'm one person. I think it does take a village to raise a child, but I also think it takes a community to uplift the people. So not just one person, but a few people, and then a few people to a lot of people, and a lot of people to a whole lot of people, and then maybe a whole lot of people to everyone. I think that could actually do something, where we're concerned. And people will say, well, it's not that simple. And I'm like, how would you know unless you try? So that was my piece on that. Yeah.
I apologize for that little 4-year-old interruption.
Hi, 4-year-old.
Oh, she went back in the back room. She didn't realize I was recording.
Oh, it's okay. I don't mind children at all. I believe the children are our future. Learn with me.
All right.
DeAnna, what do you teach? Because I know you were telling me that you had classes that you were teaching before. What type of things are you teaching in your classes that you have on hiatus right now? But what do you teach in your classes?
Well, basically, I teach people how to use the technology that is out to grow their business. So things such as, what we're doing now with Google Hangouts, how to use Google Drive, Dropbox, those sort of things. Because even though it's commonplace to us, we use it every day, there are people who have no idea that they exist. So basically what I do is I just try to get people to feel more comfortable with using a lot of the free services that are out to do what they have to do with their business.
Brilliant, brilliant. Yeah, I mean that's kind of where I am, in a novice position. But you actually have more advanced knowledge of this than I do. I actually should sit with you about YouTube. Because I saw you did something where I've never actually seen that before, but the tweeter chat.
The tweet chat? Uh-huh.
Yeah, I tried to do that the other day, and now I understand what it is, because I had never even seen that before. But what's really funny to me is that made me think about how much technology changes every day. So where I thought I had a lock on Twitter, when I looked up the Twitter chat, I found all this other stuff that Twitter does. And I was like, I didn't even know it did all that. But I think that, too, may be an issue for Twitter, because Twitter, more news, Twitter actually had this huge sell-off at their IPO, the end of their one-year trial IPO. So a lot of people sold off their stock in Twitter and sold off in huge numbers. It was almost like a landmark sell-off, except for the actual owners of Twitter, which made me think, do you think that Twitter has longevity?
Well, now that is kind of hard to say. I'm just going to be real honest and kind of blunt about that, simply because Twitter has become a big digital billboard instead of a conversation tool that like it used to be when it first came out.
Right.
So I see that leading to its demise, because a lot of people, such as myself, that were early adopters are like, this isn't fun anymore. It's just a lot of people yelling at me instead of talking to me. Whereas, we literally used to have conversations with, 140 characters. Granted, it was long conversations because, there's only so much you could say in 140 characters, but back in the day, I hate to say back in the day, it seems old, but people used to actually talk to one another on Twitter, and that's been lost. So, does it have longevity? It's kind of hard to say. I think it's up to the users. If people kind of get back to the conversation mode, then that can save Twitter from eventually becoming MySpace. But it's kind of hard to say right now.
Yeah, that is something that I've been thinking about ever since I saw that. But even when, before the IPO and before they got, to that point, I kept thinking to myself, because I actually am not a fan. I use it, and people think I'm on it. I'm never on Twitter. I'm never. When I'm tweeting, it's tweeting from Facebook a lot of times, because for me, the 140 characters just wasn't enough. And I actually had some ideas for Twitter. So Twitter, if you guys are listening, if you happen to ever come across this video, I actually have some ideas for you that I think could save you and really put you in the front of the whole entire tech game and tech app game. Yeah, because that's social. For me as an adult, you know, and you know, everybody knows I like to talk. Do you know how much typing I would be doing if I had to go 140 characters?
You'd be typing a book.
Oh my gosh. And then, okay, so then my direct messages, they don't work. Like, they only work if I'm on a tablet or my laptop. They don't work on my tablet, and they didn't work on my, and I think it had to been the app, but they don't work on my tablet, and they don't work on my cell phone. So I didn't think that was cool, and I think that played a lot in the obstruction of me wanting to use Twitter at all. And then the fact that whenever somebody's tweeting, it's always ringing the phone. I'm like, oh my God, and you have to literally turn it off.
Yeah, that's a big problem. That's why I didn't even go there with the mobile device, because I knew that would drive me absolutely mad.
I was in my sleep and I was hearing people, girl, did you know such and such and such? Oh, but there's a booger in such and such. And I was looking like, who cares, you know? and I know, like, celebrities seem to like it. I think it's a great place for celebrities to be completely disconnected from people and still interact with them. Because
don't get me started on celebrities on Twitter. Oh.
Yeah,
I could really get on a rant about that.
So, like, speaking of that, since I said that, so yesterday, well, actually this week, Beyonce's sister Solange tweeted that, and I need to go look it up, but she basically was implying that Jay-Z has been manhandling Beyonce. And then they took the tweet down. So, of course, I'm looking at all the media. None of the media has done any research about this, clearly, because they're all pinning this on Solange. And I think this is interesting because she literally came back there saying she had a drunken rant, and they're trying to say that she has all sorts of behavioral issues, things like that. But you watch the video, Beyonce's standing between them, and she's standing up against the wall like she's, like, terrified. I thought that was interesting, even though she is on Jay-Z's side. But her sister actually was pulled back and being held by a man, you know, who I'm guessing is either a friend or a bodyguard, likely a bodyguard. But I thought that was interesting because, again, you know, social media, tweeting, they literally took the ad, and I happened to see it because a friend of mine, Jerome, who is on Facebook, and he's a part of iLevel 360. Jerome actually found the post and put it on his Facebook page. And so I was trying to tell these people who were clowning on Solange, I was like, go read her tweet. Because if, you know, that was the case, it's not cool for him to be beating on Beyonce like that. And if that was my sister, I would have done the exact same thing. And I think both of my sisters know that. So really interesting. I thought, you know, the way that social media has put everybody in a real-time media frenzy, and even people who are not significantly celebrities, you know, we're all under the gun now, from Donald Strickland to me, you know, to you. Lazone?
Yes.
What type of snooping have you been doing with your Twitter?
I really don't snoop very much. I just read the feeds that of the people that I've got in my network, and therefore those type of people, they always feed me good information.
Well, that's good.
The thing, not letting people walk through your mind with their dirty feet.
I heard that.
All right now.
That makes sense.
You should put that on a T-shirt.
Ooh, with some wet feet. That's a good T-shirt. Sell it on eBay. On an eBay store.
So there's so many avenues for a person to earn an income: eBay, Craigslist, fundraising, just people hour, just doing micro jobs for Fiverr. I just can't understand how people are looking for work when they should have skills and just doing the work that's there.
Well, I think the fact of getting skills for people and then getting them paid for the work is probably an issue.
What's that?
Or trying to teach people how to get paid for certain things is another issue.
That's
Well,
a big
it's not
issue.
as hard as a person think. That I think that there's just so many distractions, that people are always one distraction away from another. Whether it's Beyonce's sister going off on Jay-Z, or a fire, or tornado, or Sterling, or that crazy rancher, and that just pulls us so off base. To whereas when you're focused, you go in and you make sure that you complete your job. And when you know what you're shooting for, then these other things, you can see them for the distractions that they are. Technology is one of those. We're still in consumer mode, but we're not trying to figure out a constructive way where we can own a platform. And right now, part of what we do with our program with young people, we have a portal that we build so that when they log in, this is where they come to get their assignments, they process paperwork, and by doing other work, they can get paid at the very end. So I can't log into any social network and do anything and actually get paid, where I have to be there and do the work to get paid. And I think that we have to figure out how to develop platforms like that. We talk about youth unemployment, that they need a job. The jobs aren't there for their parents. So that's sort of just wishful thinking. We're talking in circles. We need to find a way of creating opportunities for them to make money doing things that they can do, whether that's video production and editing, and that's the same for adults as well. I would rather have a nickel from 1 million people than try to get $1 million from 5. So volume is really key. And I know several people who are doing several $1,000s a month just doing those micro jobs on 4 and Fiverr. And so if they can do it, I can do it too, and someone else can do it too. It's just got to have people. There's the student and there's the teacher. We have a lot of people being students, but we don't have a lot of people being teachers. And those who have the knowledge, they're too busy trying to get a job teaching for a big institution than transferring that knowledge back and building a base that they could work from. And that's just my thought. So the software that we use for our directory, there's nobody in the city that uses that software. So I have to have a program where it's not only am I trying to give them an opportunity of making money, but I'm also trying to train a pool of people that I will have as a pool who can do the work that I'm going to need done.
Okay, so I want to send a shout out to Al Burrows, who's watching via Google Plus on the Google Hangout. Google's on air, and he said we're looking good. Thanks, Al. Al actually owns a streaming network, the Intellectual Exchange. If you ever want to check out, please do, because he is an awesome guy. He is also the sound engineer for the SOS band. So, yeah, check him out, and that's Al Burrows, spelled the way it sounds. Real simple. He has a TV show coming out about shoes, which I thought was genius. I don't know what the name of the show was called, but it's about shoes, because I'm thinking to myself, what better for women to tune into but a show about shoes, right? So that I think I want to send a shout out to him. I think that's going to be big, and it'll be a male-female component on that show. So, and he's actually right around the corner from me. So, thank you, Al. Thank you for tuning in, and there was your plug. Anyway, who else is watching? Let's say hi to some people. Byron Roger Smith, I want to thank you for sharing my information along with Bobby Johnny Wesley that took the information and put it out today. And I agree with you, Lazone. Focus is extremely important. And I can say that because I lack focus and I need to focus. Like I said, if I can finish this book, I think if I finish my book will probably sell very well. Given that it's a book about technology and the conspiracy as to why people are not getting the information that they have and why we're not educating people. And why, oh, by the way, I saw today where Sandra D of the Urban Tech Fair, Sandra D. King posted that there actually is a lag of the United States is lagging far behind China in multiple factions like manufacturing, technology, and our economics as well as our education. So that's a huge issue. And so this article is put out by economyincrisis.org. You can check that out. It's very interesting information. They actually show, by John Finn, they actually show, you know, our crucial issues and things that people really need to be paying attention to. So please check that out. It's on my Facebook page, Cairo Qween. If you don't know how to spell Cairo Qween, it's spelled with a W instead of a U. So real simple. Cairo like Egypt, C-A-I-R-O, face, Q-W-E-E-N. And if you want to go to that page, the link for that is www.facebook.com/invisible-resource-group. That's my actual homepage. I also have a page for Cairo Qween. That's C-A-I-R-O-Q-W-E-E-N headquarters. That's my fan page, and you can like that also. There's a group on Facebook called I Broadcast Events. That's my group. All the groups that I'm on, my face is on, so you know it's my group. So if you want to find it, it's pretty easy to find. Now, a few other things before we close out, because we're hitting the 9:05 time frame here on the East Coast, and so I said we only run about 90 minutes, so we're almost there. I wanted to talk a little bit about what Lazone has going on, since we talked about what DeAnna has going on. Lazone, can you refresh us and tell us a little bit about what you have going on in Kansas?
As far as
technology and the functions that you guys have going on there in your city.
well, you know, I keep going back to this Google Fiber deal because that is a big thing in the Kansas City area. And it's been a while since they have started the project, and as they are building it out, so we envisioned and concluded a very large Wi-Fi project for public housing departments. We've completed an adjacent community computer tech center, and this summer we'll be rolling out a variety of different programs, digital literacy. There'll be some evening classes for the single moms that live in the projects that's right across the street. And we will also be trying to work with the young people, again, with our Youth IT Enterprise Development Program. And that's the Kansas City, Kansas side. On the Kansas City, Missouri side, which is much larger, have a larger concentration of the poor black community. We're in the throes of trying to work with a pretty large respected neighborhood association group to put together a Wi-Fi for the neighborhood, build out they have an old community center, build it out into being a tech center, again initiating programs. So Kansas City is sort of like a sandbox dealing with Wi-Fi and high-speed broadband that I'm able to sort of let my ideas grow and flow, and other people are, and as we learn some of the pros and cons of it, when other people in other cities may want to do something, at least we have a knowledge base on what is good. It's not just internet activity or connectivity in itself is nothing. There's a lot of people with internet at home and they cannot pay their bills and don't have a job and can't get a job. So it's just not an automatic equalizer. Just having a center that has access to computers, public libraries have done that all along. If there's no structured programs there, most young people come there and just get on Facebook and chat and do things that are not empowering. And so we are really at the forefront of constructing an ecosystem where there's the Wi-Fi, the computer tech center, and we can be strategic on the type of programs that we are going to put into the building, which will include digital stewards teaching some of the younger adults in the neighborhood, in the housing projects, how to maintain the antennas and the routers and the repeaters that we have set up all over these housing projects, so that if we look to expand to another place, we have a skilled pool of people who understand the technology. Most young people know how to get on the internet and surf like the Dickens, but if you actually set a computer and a router, a wireless router, they may not really know how to go and set up the IP address and do all those other type of things. So they may not go into this as a living, but at least we can assure that they're going to be come into contact with technology, applications of technology, understandings of setting up technologies that they will not get in the schools, the public schools. They will not get at McDonald's, and they will not get hanging out at the public library or community center. We got to create programs and put them smack dab in the middle of the neighborhood. And we have a lot of, now that things are going that they said it couldn't be done, from DeVry to the University of Missouri, Kansas City School of Business, Entrepreneurial Center. A lot of people are now looking at the building and the Wi-Fi and the demographic, and they're saying, what can we do to help? So getting some interns from DeVry who will be doing some instruction and just coming in and talking with some of the young people about what they're involved in some of the other institutions, some of the companies like Hallmark, what they're getting ready to do in digital storytelling, so that they can understand the things that we're trying to teach them in that tech center, how it's going to apply in the larger world. If we weren't doing it in that neighborhood, which is the poorest tract of land in the state of Kansas, then nobody else would be coming into that neighborhood. It's cleaning up. It's slowly but surely, and hopefully this summer we'll do a big outdoor session, outdoor jams, speakers, signing people up to volunteer, signing them up for classes. And that's what I'm trying to merge with the Urban Tech Fair there in Kansas City, Kansas, is just finding people who can make a 30-day commitment to work as a team is just very tough to do. People are one distraction away from another distraction. So if it's not my child got kicked out of school, or he didn't pay child support, or he got a ticket, or I lost my job, or there's just so many hurts and pains going on in the neighborhood for people to stay focused, that the few of us that can, we got to step up and go in and get the job done. That's about it.
You're absolutely right, Lazone. I mean, I think that it would be a wonderful world if we could get everybody to participate. I just think it's also trying to get them to understand the significance of, what it is that we're doing and why this is actually meaningful, and more meaningful for them than everything else that's going on at this point. Because I think, again, there are distractions. There are, of course, things that you have to take care of there will be distractions, but all these other things, you hear a lot of people say, well, I got to do this and I got to do that, especially here in Atlanta. I call this the land of the plus ones. Everybody that has this and the multiple functions of one human. Very interesting. But yeah, so here's a question for both you and DeAnna, and I think this will probably be my final question because we're at the 15 15-minute point now. In a perfect world, if all things were sound, what do you think could be done where technology is concerned that could benefit African Americans as well as the United States?
What was that last part?
What do you feel could benefit? I meant to ask you loaded. You know, what do you feel could benefit African Americans and the United States, or African American United States, however you want to word it? The one thing that could really revolutionize, or one thing that you would like to see happen now, if everything was in place to do this, like if there was not a money issue and things could actually be done and produced and created and brought to fruition, what would you like to see happen? Either one of you.
Well, I think one thing that would be nice to have would be like maybe some kind of 24-hour tech center for people to be able to go to and just play around with whatever the latest technological things are, because a lot of it is discussed. So I think if we had somewhere where people could just kind of go and tinker with stuff, that would be one really good start.
I think that's a fantastic idea, to be honest with you. Kind of lines up with something that I would like to launch at some point or another, but maybe a few years from now. But I think that is superb, because that would actually remedy a lot of things. For one thing, it would give people a desire to do something with it. And I thought, you know, Best Buy was cool because you could go in and you can press buttons on everything. I thought that was awesome. You know, if there was a place where people could, you know, go in and sit down and learn how to use the internet if they don't know how to use it, play with different types of cell phones, get on tablets and play with those, learn about coding for the heck of it, just because they walked in there. That could be fantastic. You know, that type of tech center, I think, would be absolutely monumental. And I'm glad you said that, because I know somebody who might be able to make that happen. So I'm going to pull you into something where I would like for you to remember that, because I'm going to need you to tell them that. I think that's awesome. That's an awesome idea. What about you, Lazone?
Well, I think it was Donald Trump who said, if you're going to be thinking, may as well be thinking big. If you're going to be thinking anything, you may as well be thinking big. And since you said money is not the issue, I do believe what the sister said, you know, about tech centers. There's the future, our young people that need skills for the future jobs. And then we have many of their parents, uncles and aunts, who need jobs right now. And they may not be as technical literate, but I think that you have to build, first off, some type of a base that has a base of technology that operates it. Then you can have people that you can bring in and train them to use that particular technology. Now, and I will use as an example, you know, the AAA Auto Club deal, AAA card. Your tire breaks down, they come out and pick you up, right? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Now, we have at least 500,000 of us black Americans who probably got a job, got a car, decent. We can probably pay the $122 a year to get the same service. And I think that when you take that kind of money and you're going to have apps that drive it, websites that drive it. Go to AAA's website. They probably have a whole IT department that has to drive that network. And also, it helps us in other areas of economic independence, such as increasing more tow truck drivers, more black auto repair companies, restaurants where people are going to eat while their cars are getting fixed, black dealerships and those who lease vehicles. And many times in technology, it's just not in the computer, it's also in the sun diagnostic equipment that goes to fix cars. So in one instance, the membership to a AAA type of idea would generate revenue to whereas it would be able to pay to train people to work in the administrative offices, which would be highly technological, but it will also have an outgrowing effect in other industries too. We just can't think in one box looking at the bigger picture. Now, it's not like we don't have the number of people with the cars and the income. We just have to put together a national infrastructure and then get a commitment and a will behind it. I'm willing to lose $122 a year, and if it's not right, you know, I just won't re-up. But to not, there's nothing wrong with competing in industries. We have to find a way of competing in the industry if money is not a problem. And therefore, I think we can generate some of our own profits so that we don't have to worry about begging no United Way, no contributions, no Ford Foundation, no government for no jobs program. We can be able to create some jobs on our own. So anything that's going to be dealing successful with technology, we have to be conscious that there are some non-technological things that when we add that to the mix, I think that it boosts a better package, a better something we need collectively, not just in Atlanta, not just in Kansas, not just in Washington, D.C. We need to have a large project that we look at as our people, and this is ours, and we're going to grow it out. And I think that ideas like that there, it may seem far-fetched, but when you actually sit down and do the math, which I have, this is I think would be a great idea. That's it.
I think that's outstanding. I mean, because one, it has economic impact, and I'm all for anything that is actually going to increase jobs, increase the economy, and going to add to our economic incomes or our economic surplus. I would love to see that happen. I think that that is a huge idea, and not out of reach. It may be, you know, a little beyond the scope of what everyday people are comprehensive of, but I think it's a doable deal. I would support that entirely. I think that's outstanding.
I believe that there's 500,000 of you who would support something like that, so it's not that it can't be done. We just got to sort of do something, and I have 3 or 4 other ideas, you know, now that we have a $1 trillion spending habit that, that are all reachable.
I keep talking about that. I'm like, if people only knew and understood what that meant, $3 trillion or $1 trillion a year. $1 trillion is a lot of money. I mean, $1 billion is a lot of money, but $1 trillion? I mean, you're talking about princes and castles made of gold at $1 trillion. So I just
your money foolishly.
Yeah. I'm thinking about the people over in Saudi Arabia that would have $1 trillion. But I mean, yeah, that to me is just absurd. I'm like, for $1 trillion and nothing to show for it on a big scale. We're not expanding to a place where we're producing products, and I think Jim Newsom told me we produce at a rate of 1.5%. 1.5% for $1 trillion that we put out? That's not okay. That is not okay at all. Yeah, and so I would love to see, you know, a platform where people could become producers as opposed to consumers. Even myself, you know, with the production of a book, and then there's some products that I would like to design, and I'm not really sure how to go about doing it. I know a 3D printer is literally the doorway to one of the things that I want to do. But of course, this needs to build up first. So the whole TV show and the concept of a tech socialite show, and where we can get interactive and get more people watching, that is my first step. And me to stop moving around on camera because it's having a lag and it looks crazy. But anyway, but to be able to take this and move it to a bigger space and have more people that are tuned into it, so it would have a better impact, for me, would be something on my end that I would need to do first. But my thought is, and everybody knows I'm big on robotics. I would like to see, in a perfect world, where everybody had a living robot. I truly, honestly believe, people laugh at me when I say this, but I dream about this, literally, where we could all have living robots, because my thought is, with a living robot, a lot of the ills of society could be quelched. And I think about this because I think if you had a living robot in the home and you could salvage a parent time for having to, you know, do house chores, where they could spend time with their children and had an option to do that, you know, where you could have senior citizens that don't have anyone to care for them, and they need someone to take care of them, where they need someone to be responsible for them if they are unable to reach things, if they drop things and need someone to pick them up. If they have, you know, 911 calls that need to be made because they fall, things like that. Because you have, again, a growing population of senior citizens that are not going to stop growing, because you have the largest group of people who will become elderly within the baby boomer demographic. And so my thought is, you know, who is going to take care of all those people? And I think China actually had an issue like this, to where a lot of people are now living with their parents, and their parents are now in-home care, because they have to stay home and work from home because they actually have a parent in the house. I think, too, to look and to understand that, you know, beyond the scope of the household, you know, you have the ability to have, where we're looking at education right now, we might be able to have a robot who could be the live-in teacher, you know, for technology, for coding, things like that. I have a vision for things that are like so far beyond what will likely be seen in the next 20 years. But I just truly think that in a perfect world for me would be what I'd like to see. And I'm totally with the Jetsons all the way. Well, Lazone, thank you so much. DeAnna, I don't know what happened. You likely got cut off or you disconnected. But I want to thank both of you for joining me on Face-to-Face. I love seeing you all face-to-face, because I see you on Facebook, and those are pictures, and it's good to be able to interact and exchange information and be able to save it and let other people watch it later on YouTube, and share it on social media. Because there are people watching in different little pockets, of course. So I think it's really cool that we're able to do this. I don't like this lag. This is bothering me. So I'm going to get off of here. And I will do this again. I don't know what day. I have a lot of things on a schedule, but I do have an interview with Cynthia Mitchell coming up out of California, who is the founder of Tech Divas Uncorked. She is awesome. She talks a lot about the evolution of education and technology and educating young girls with technology. She's going to be fantastic. She's actually been an educator. She does all sorts of wonderful things, and been doing it for years. So then, of course, I'll have Jamila Brown at some point, who is a teacher of SharePoint services for Microsoft. And she is, I call her a tech whiz kid, or the tech wizard. She's the founder of iLevel 360. She and Cameron Harrison, the founders of iLevel360.com. So check them out, www.ilevel, I like ice cream, ilevel360.com. Media platform that I'm looking at right now, so hope that all works out. In addition to virtuetechnologies.com, and that is where you can actually go and purchase this SharePoint services class. Definitely want to check that out. So that's my plug for Microsoft today. In addition to the page where they actually, the site where they actually have models and people who are interested in being in entertainment. It's an agency called iLevel Creative, so www.ilevelcreative.com. Now, for my big announcement for everybody who didn't know, I actually released my website this week finally, and I'm still working on it, but I had to get it out because I've been doing this I've gone through I don't know how many different websites over the last 6 months, and I finally found one that I could get out, and I was happy with it. I wanted to build it, and now I can have somebody else build another one for me. But I wanted to see what my layout for a website would be like. But I do have one now, and it is www.techsocialite. That is techsocialite.info. Information, because I'm an information activist. So go on my website and please sign in, leave a comment, make a statement. This video will be posted on there eventually. And I'm probably going to do some editing to it. And maybe not. I might just leave it raw. I don't know. So you can go on there. I'm going to send some email blast out with this video. Of course, I want Lazone's information to get out to more people and DeAnna's information to get out. So, of course, I am all about sharing information. You can friend me on Facebook under Cairo Qween. That's CAIROQWEEN. Of course, space between the two words. Check me out on my fan page at facebook.com/GoLiveCQ. That's GoLiveCQ, like Cairo Qween. So you can definitely check it out. We'll probably be broadcasting from that page at some point or another because I downloaded a new app that can help me do that. So people who are on my Facebook page and friends with me on that page can actually watch it live from that page on Facebook. In addition to all other places you can watch it on Facebook. Now, you can pick it up on Twitter. You're also on Google+. So Google+ under my iBroadcast account and under my Cairo Qween account. So if you're watching on either, hi, and thank you so much. Please leave a comment. Thank you, Al, for watching out there. Urban Tech Fair, thank you all for participating, Lazone. And anything else that I need to say, the 50-15 referral partners program that I created is now live. If you're interested in referring me any type of business for publicity or even to book me or host me for shows, I actually give 50% to anything over $1,000, and anything under that is 15%. So you enroll as a referral partner for me, and then we actually would be able to pay you out on PayPal the day that I get paid. So definitely want to sign up for that. That's my way of keeping a log for it, and you can keep a record yourself also. Thank you so much for tuning in. For now, it's been great seeing you face to face. I'm Cairo Qween, and I'll see you next time.